Guys, today we're going to do a carburetor on a quadra cut system Honda lawnmower. It is model hrr2163vxa. Any of the parts you need I'll put in the description below, including a whole new carburetor if I can find one. If this helps you out in any way, shape, or form, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Also, I'll be putting this acid that I use. I'll show you. It makes your carburetor like new again. All right, air filter off. 10 millimeter, 1, 2, 3 of them. Pop them off. Bolts out. This air filter just comes out. There's a little tube, but it wasn't connected. Usually this will hold on, and I can show you. It goes to this hose. It was disconnected. It's not a big deal. It's just a crankcase ventilation. So when the engine gets hot, any of the oil that kind of vaporizes goes back through that tube, gets sucked through the intake and back in the engine and burn off. It's kind of a California emissions thing. All right, and then you got your two cables. You got your choke arm right here and your throttle arm right here. There are just little S turns in them. So I don't know if you can see them or not, but we're just going to, damn it, this was stuck. But basically you turn it this way. I gotta use both hands. Oh, you know what it is? I'm an idiot. It's not turning because there's fuel line still on it. Turn the fuel off. Like that, that's off. Like that. Pair of pliers, get this hose clamp moved off of here. I was like, why won't this turn? Move the clamp over. Then you give the hose a squeeze and a couple of twists, and that breaks it free from the carburetor. Then you can just pull it right off the carburetor. You're going to want to drain all the fuel out of the gas tank into a container. Get rid of all the old stuff. I've already done this. He had bad gas, and I was hoping to get away with not having to do his carburetor for him. So I drained the gas, rinsed the tank out, and put fresh new gas, drained the carburetor and everything. It just didn't work. It's just too far gone. This comes off the back side. You try not to take apart these things as much as possible. Oh, this thing's got no gasket on the back. This thing's never run right. So there's a gasket that goes between here and there. Never run right. That's crazy. Did it drop? Oh, there it is. It's on. It fell. All right. Thank God. I was like, oh, what the heck? All right. We'll leave that there. Now this can twist to the side. And we'll get the choke arm out. Oh, all right. Hold on. So you lift it up a little bit. There, it just comes out. You lift it up a little bit. There, it comes right on. And then the spring comes right on off. You really need two hands for this stuff. The spring comes off of there as well. So we'll flip this over. There will be gas coming out of it, so be careful. 10 millimeter, this bottom bolt, we're going to pop it right off. Bowl off. And then there's a little pin here. I'll pull that out. And then the float needle valve come out. And then inside here, there's a little flathead slot. Hold on, let me show you something first. 14 karat gold testing solution. This is the acid that I use. I'll put this in the description below. If you're on a mobile device, just click the down arrow to the right of the title, and it'll drop down a window, and you'll have all your links in that. I've used all the different acids. This is the best working one. Some of them will melt the aluminum, some will eat the brass. This one doesn't. Some of them don't do anything. I've tried mixing my own. I've ruined some carburetors going through this stuff. This is the stuff to use. All right, so I'm going to put a drop in there first, just to loosen up all the debris on there before I go to try to take that jet out. So drop inside. You see what it does? It reacts with the brass and boils it clean. See, it's cleaning the threads around the outside and everything too. All reality, this thing tried running. All I'd really have to do is what I just did there and then rinse it out, but we're gonna go through this whole thing. All right, so make sure you wear safety goggles and vinyl gloves. Use brake cleaner or carb cleaner and gently rinse it out. That way you don't get any splashback. Just gently rinse it out. And then you can go hard after that. All right, so now you've gotten this kind of cleaned. You're going to take a number 2 flathead screwdriver, and I grind the sides off of them so that it'll fit inside of here. If you use a little screwdriver that already fits, you're just going to strip out the jet. So you're going to find the flathead slot, and then you're going to turn it counterclockwise. But you're going to have to hold it firmly down, like real good grip with this, holding the carburetor really well, and give it a good jerk to try to break it free. If you start stripping it out, you're just going to clean it with the acid there, you know, like this, leaving it all together. But we're going to take the jet out. We're going to try. We'll see what happens. So you got the orifice tube and the jet out. I had to tap on this to kind of shake them out, just so you know. Notice I left any gaskets and seals and stuff in place. If you try to remove them, you're just going to break them. You don't want to do that. So, and then a couple of drops into each of them. And then this carburetor, you got 2 spots too. You got a little hole right there and a little hole right there. I'm going to put a couple drops in each of them. Those are idle circuits. They'll run right out here. And you just let them simmer until they're done. Again, gently rinse it off so you don't get splashback in your face. If you get this on your skin, it will burn, but don't freak out. You can rinse it out with water. Get in your eyes. Don't freak out. You can rinse it out with water. Carb cleaner is going to hurt worse than the acid. Well, I mean, right away. The acid will blind you, so make sure you rinse it out with water right away. Don't panic. Just get right to the water source. Keep a bottle of water next to you. Even. Carb cleaner, just freaking try to keep your eye open. Once it's done evaporating, it'll stop hurting. You know, I'm using brake cleaner. It's same deal. Carb cleaner, brake cleaner, whatever's cheapest. And then we're gonna flip these over to the other side, and then we're gonna hit everything one more time with acid on the other side. And let it all boil out. It's looking good. Give it a light rinse. And then once you've given it a light rinse, you can go more solid. On all of them. It's easier when you're holding them with your other hands. Just blow them out really hard once you've got it. Again, wear safety goggles. And you're going to rinse everything out really well. Bowl, the float, the bowl, the carb, inside here, straight inside here too. This is your fuel inlet. Make sure this is good and clean as well. Make sure that's good and clean. Just go through and just make sure everything's clean. Needle valve, I mean, if you got crusties on it, look, this slides right out of the float. If you've got crusties on it, scrape them off. It's the corners that are the most important. You got to get all the crusties off, but use a little flathead screwdriver and scrape it. Any crusties can keep this stuck open, and you don't want any of that to happen. So we're going to go through and we're going to give everything a good cleaning. And then we're going to go ahead, orifice tube, flat side up, drop it in. Then the jet, flat side down, flat head, screw side up, Drop it down in there, and then you're just going to screw it in. Make sure you wipe off the screwdriver, any of the crunchies that are still on it. You want to make sure they're off so you don't jam dirt into the jet. And screw it down in. We're going to set the needle valve back into the float. Give it another little quick rinse to make sure there's no dirt on the needle valve at all. And then we're going to set the needle valve down into the fuel inlet like that. We're going to stick the pin in to hold the float in place. Alright, you need both ends. Go. Float should be set and fairly level. If it's up like this, that means you've got debris inside there, or that your needle valve seal, the little tip of it swollen up, and that's no good. Then we're going to give everything another good rinse inside. Make sure there's nothing dirt-wise inside of this. Make sure the bowl is clean. We're going to put the bowl back on. The drain bolt is going to be the opposite side as the fuel inlet. We're going to put the bowl bolt back on. Make sure there's that orange gasket still on there. Make sure there's no dirt inside that tip of that bolt, because that'll shove dirt right back into the jet. We don't want that. Tighten it down. Work on getting everything back in place and lined up. First thing first is the throttle arm. You're going to get it shoved into place. Twist in, and then you got the little hole that the spring goes in. Get the spring into the little hole. Choke arm on the same way, like that. Choke arm goes on the inside one. Alright, so then we're going to put the fuel line back on. It's a good time to put gas in and turn your fuel on. You'll be able to tell if your carburetor's leaking. It's sitting straight up and down, but it'll run right out of the mouth if the needle is leaking. So let it sit there for a few minutes. Fill up so you can tell if it's leaking. Alright, so that should be fine. We're going to go ahead and put our bolts in here, and then we're going to work our way back over through everything. So we'll start through this metal plate first. The carburetor up and put it through the carburetor. So sticking out the back of the carburetor, we're going to take this guy and set it up in place. And then we've got that in place like that. You see how the metal plate's down like that, just so you know how that goes in. And then this is going to go with the short side down onto the carb, onto the isolator block. Hold on, let me torch on. This is going to go like this, and then set it on the bolts. And all that's on, then you line it up to the engine and you tighten it down. Just going to get it all started like that. And then that's where I like having long needle nose, because you got the tube that goes into the back and goes right up. This tube down here goes up in this back. There's a spot for it. Just can't see it with this light here. Back in here, we got to get that tube lifted up and shoved into the, you see the spot right there. This tube right here goes up into there. Find that you can actually reach the tube from down here and shove it right into place and on. Alright, and then you tighten it all down. You got these two 10s, and then you got another little 10 that goes up in here. Once you get them, you tighten them all down. Alright guys, if this helped you out in any way, shape, or form, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I'll put all the parts you might need on this in the description below. If you want to do any advertising through my channel, I'll be more than happy to have you. Message me and we'll set something up. Peace.